Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to my Blu-ray DVD library tour. And this time it's going to be miscellaneous DVDs. There are a number that are of same label, but not enough to do individual films. And we'll start out, there's some DVDs here. It's not all my DVDs, as I've said before. Most of my DVDs have been broken down out of cases into little envelopes, and it's a little box. You can get a huge amount in a little box, and then I've preserved the sleeves and any booklets in some other boxes. But we'll start out with some DVDs. Just have to be careful here. I got piles everywhere. Here is The Black Cat. It's based on Edgar Allan Poe's story, obviously. And it's with Basil Rathbone, Hugh Herbert, Broderick Crawford, and Bela Lugosi. It's 1941. It also has Gail Sondergaard, Anne Gwynn, Gladys Cooper, Claire Dodd, and Alan Ladd. It's directed by Albert S. Roigel, and I haven't seen this in a long time, but it showed up because I was trying to get the Poe ones that I remembered and watched and liked for a Poe Fest at some point. Now, this is my Macbeth DVD. I think we'll see I do have a Blu-ray of it, but I had this for quite a while and I wanted to upgrade. But that's Macbeth, Orson Welles. It's Jeanette Nolan. Roddy McDowell's on it, a very young Roddy McDowell. And this was done, I'm trying to see what year. And of course, it doesn't say very clear. I think it's 40s, but it's superb. It's one of my favorite. Well, it's probably the favorite version of Macbeth. May not be wholly correct to the play, but it's just fabulous looking. And well, we'll do this one first because this was the original. It's not a great. It's alpha video, so it's quite poor, but it's a really good sort of haunted house type silent called The Bat. It's Roland West, and it stars Roland West is the director. It stars Louise Fazenda, Jewel Carmen, Jack Pickford. Yep, that's Mary Pickford's brother, Emile Fitzroy, and cinematography by Arthur Edison, who was a very popular, a very good a cinematographer. And this was done in 1926. And there's a creature. Well, there's a thief called the Bat, and it's actually where Batman was taken from, the play of this. It was based on a play, as you can see there. There's a bat going down, and there's miniatures in it and so forth. It's really good. And then it was redone in the 50s. I'm trying to think of the producer of this, but I don't think it was Amic. No, the Amicus was later. It could have been Castle. This could have been a Castle film. The Bat, and the tagline is someone dies when it flies. It's Vincent Price, Agnes Moorehead. And it's directed by Crane Wilbur. 1959. Here's an interesting film. It's Hans Albers Munchausen. It's based on the Baron Munchausen, but this is a German film, from 1943. So it's during the war. Hans Albert, Bridget Horney, Ferdinand Marion, most of these people, but Hans Albert was a very popular actor. Or actually, sorry, Hans Albert. Yeah, he was. He was playing Munchausen. It's 1943, and it's just sumptuously colorful. And there's been other remakes. We should see another one in here, but I don't have Terry Gilliam's Baron Munchausen, which is fabulous as well. There's a Danish one, I think, but this is German. It's only been out, as far as I know, in DVD. And the character, like talking about Terry Gilliam, that almost looks like Michael Palin in the way he looks now. And here's it was an interesting series of DVDs they did. I had to pick this up again used, and they put a lime green case on it. It's a double-sided DVD. There's no extras on it. This is Ray Milland's Panic in Year Zero, which is quite interesting. He directed it, and I think he might have done the script too. No, he didn't do the script, but it was directed by Ray Milland. It's a post-apocalyptic film. Well, they both are, and then there's the Last Man on Earth. It's a double feature. MGM, they did a whole series of these. They were really cheap when I was buying them before, but this one I was able to pick up, and it's in perfect condition, used, because I will be doing a book to film with Legend at some point. So there are enough, like this was the original one with Vincent Price, directed by Sidney Salco, and it's an interesting one. This is a castle. I'm sure it's a castle. I thought it was a castle film. Anyway, that was dates again. 1962 for Panic in Year Zero, and 1964 for Last Man on Earth. This is an interesting box. It's called the Classic Collection. There was a number of these done. I've got I've got two more. I think I got two of them. Chaplin ones. I got City Lights and Modern Times. This obviously is Citizen Kane, and it's a nice little box set. It's 2-disc DVDs, but it's got some interesting bits and pieces in it. It's got a film, you can see through it, a film thingy, and there's a booklet, commemorative booklet, plus if I can get it out, plus cards, nice black and white cards. And there was a whole series of these. As you can see, I never seen most of these, but they had even Casablanca. There was a whole set of these, and as I say, I have 3 of them. And this one I remember picking up. It must have not sold well, because I remember picking this up in DVD. It's a little rough, little dinged and everything, but I think that was in the post. But this is more than 10 years ago now that I got this. And I think I only paid like £2 for it or something like that, new. And as I say, it's Citizen Kane, Orson Welles. And there's Criterion have put out a new one. There was issues with, I think, one of the discs, so they had to recall it. Or the 4K disc, I'm not sure. But yeah, so I'd like to upgrade that into a nice Blu-ray. This is, I do have quite a few Blu-rays and DVDs from this one place. It's called Network, and they do a British film series in these very slim cases. I think they were originally in um, in several box sets, and this is it's Edgar Wallace presents The Missing Million, and that has Lyndon Travers, which we've seen before. She's on the Lady Vanishes, and we'll see another copy of that soon. Um, it's based on a novel by Edgar Wallace, screenplay by James Seymour, and directed by Phil Brandon. And they did a whole series of this. And here's another one that's an early sound with sound picture called Fascination with Madeleine Carroll. Um, it's quite early. Do we give get it 1942 for this one, and this is 1931. And directed by John Reynolds. Renders. Um, as I say, they networks have done really great things. They've done box sets of Ealing, like the most biggest one, the most popular ones. It was a really nice box set with I think 30 films in it, and then they've put out individual ones with like four films in each with about 90 films. They've done a lot, and they'd be interesting to watch. And well, here fits in with the Future History Project. It's an okay film, and that more an adaptation of the novel than the short story by Asimov. Um, is Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams. It's just a cheap DVD of it. There's really no extras on it other than behind the scenes featurettes and theatrical trailer. And I cannot read on the back to say who directed this. I just can't see it. It's too small of writing. And here's a fabulous TV adaptation of Brideshead Revisited with Jeremy Irons and Anthony Andrews. Claire Bloom was on it as well. I mentioned Chaplin, and she was in Limelight, her first sort of starring role. And this is fabulous. This is a screenplay by John Mortimer of Rumpole fame, and it's a fabulous adaptation. Now we'll get into the Blu-rays, and hopefully, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this all in one go. This is the Maltese Falcon. We've seen this as a book to film. It's Mary Astor, Humphrey Bogart, directed by John Huston. Fabulous film. And here's a number of ones. I think HMV here had them as exclusives. But they're okay. They're not the best, but there's George Pell's The Time Machine. Excuse me. And I did that to a book to film as well. It doesn't have commentary on it, sadly. I don't think any of these do. It's part of the premium collection. And they have Blu-rays, sometimes DVDs. And Howard Hawks' production of The Thing from Another World, 1951. They did this as a book, sort of novelette film. James Arness. I really like it, even though it's hokey and it's very Cold War-ish. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the pile here. Okay. And a fabulous Robert Wise adaptation of an okay book. I know it's a very popular book, but I didn't really care for it that much, is The Haunting. Claire Bloom. We mentioned Claire Bloom. So that's 1964, somewhere around that, 62 or 64. And Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. I also did that as book to film. And let's see here, Soylent Green, which was from Make Room with Charlton Heston, Lee Taylor Young, and Edward G. Robinson. I can't remember the director's name now. And I can't see it on here. Is it on the DVD? Possibly. Yeah, it should be here. Richard Fleischer. Yeah, Richard Fleischer. And we mentioned Last Man on Earth from Legend, the book Richard Matheson, and this is the most recent one. And I picked this up. I couldn't believe it. Like when I was thinking of doing it, but I don't have Omega Man. That's the one I want to sort of base it on too. But I thought I'd get this, and it was only like £2 somewhere, or less than £2, I think, something like that. New Blu-ray. There's really nothing on it, I don't think. Well, there is a few extras. I have yet to see this. It's with Will Smith. Can't see who the director was. No, it's too small to see. And here's The Thing. It's the newer Thing, John Carpenter's, and then the prequel. I've yet to watch actually the prequel off this, but it's 1982 and 2011 prequel. And a fabulous film is Zulu, Michael Caine and Stanley Baker and Jack Hawkins. It's directed by Cy Enfield, 1964. Ish. I can't see the date. It's too small. Now, here is... I'll just show this one first. Universal Monsters. They came out originally in a really nice big box set with figures. Let me see. It was the Mummy. Oh no, it was Frankenstein, Monster, the Wolfman, and Dracula. Two little busts that were about this tall, about 4 or 5 inches tall, and a whole bunch of DVDs. It had extras on and everything. And I had several of those sets because I bought one myself, and then for some reason they were clearing them out, and on Amazon there was a seller that was selling them for under 10 pounds each. So I bought like 4 or 5 of them and gave them away as presents over a few years, and then I wound up selling mine, which I'm sad about, but because of the figures. But then they came out with some Blu-rays, and this was sort of like an essential collection, and this was limited. I think it has a limitation on it here somewhere. It's got 8 films. No, it doesn't say there which one, but it's in the size of it's in the coffin, and this was a limited edition, and it has Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Wolfman, and the Bride of Frankenstein. And there's cards in it. There's a booklet. Booklet's not the greatest, but I bought this at the time because that's all they had in Blu-ray before I even had a Blu-ray player. But I wanted it, and I had a bit of money at the time, so I bought it. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to put this stuff. And then they came out more recently. This is region B, so it's UK, and then in the US they came out with the complete set, 30 films in Blu-ray. This came a bit damaged. The case is cracked here a little bit. It was already, I think I saved like, well, the original price on eBay that I paid for it was something like 30 or 40% off the full price that you would buy it, like through Amazon.com, but I could never get it that cheap with shipping and everything. But this was free shipping, and then because it was damaged, I got another 50% off or 60% off, like a huge amount. So I got this very, very cheap, albeit, as I say, a damaged case. And it has all the, it's got the Phantom of the Opera, it's got the Creature from the Black Lagoon, it's called the Complete Legacy Collection. But the thing is, like, all they did was repackage each individual series, so there's duplications throughout, like, Wolfman, and Frankenstein, and the Frankenstein Dracula crossovers, and they're on each one. So you've got Frankenstein, the Dracula ones on Frankenstein, and the Frankenstein ones on Dracula, and like on the Wolfman as well. This has the later film, Phantom of the Opera. It has been criticized that it doesn't have the silent Phantom of the Opera in it, but they're very, very nice transfers, and I was really, really happy to get them in Blu-ray. So let's keep on moving here. A more recent film that is fabulous is Educating Rita, Julie Walters and Michael Caine. Just a fabulous film. Michael Caine's not so much believable as a university professor so much, but he's just fabulous in it regardless. And Julie Walters is good too. The play is quite good. This was directed by I can't see who the director was. It says production, co-produced by, and directed, Louis Gilbert, or Galbert. And Roman Polanski's version of, it's the only version, I think, Rosemary's Baby, fabulous film with Mia Farrow and John Cassavetes, Ruth Gordon, Sidney Blackmer, Maurice Evans, Ralph Bellamy, and it was produced by William Castle, who kept saying, so at least I get one right. And it was based on William Blatty's book, Rosemary's Baby. This is a more newer one. I haven't seen this. I bought this because it was really cheap, because it looks interesting, and a friend of mine said it was really good. And I want to get their Lighthouse one, but it hasn't dropped. This was only like, I think, $2.99 or something like that, so I couldn't pass it up. It's called The Witch. It's a very recent one. I can't read any of the it's like so light, and you just can't, I just can't read it. So, but it's in the last 5 years. Director, I can't remember the name of the director, and I can't read it. Here's a fabulous film for the 30s, Grand Hotel. This is a steel case one. It doesn't have great extras on it. It's got commentary, but there's no booklet and stuff. But it's Greta Garbo, John Barrymore, Joan Crawford, Wallace Berry, Lionel Barrymore, and Grand Hotel. It's with Louis Stone and Jean Hersholt. It's directed by Edmund Goulding. It's a fabulous film, and it's based on a book, but I still need to try to track that down. Grand Hotel. It's like Joan Crawford when she was actually good, before she became Joan Crawford. It's early 30s. And here's a fabulous. I have a penchant for 1950s sci-fi sort of schlock films, But this one's pretty good. It's slightly alien based, and we'll get the alien in a minute, but it's called It, the Terror from Beyond Space, the Revelation Shocker of Things to Come. Marshall Thompson, co-starring Sean Smith, Kim Spalding, and it's from early 50s. I can't really, it's directed by Edward L. Chan. It's from the 50s, and it's spaceship in space with a alien creature on board killing the crew. Sound familiar? Yeah, here's the Blu-ray Macbeth, all of signature ones in a slipcase. It's quite nice. It's got nice commentary. It's got a lot of extras on. It's a nice one, and that's 1950. I thought it was actually 40s, but it's 19. Well, he probably was making it in the 40s. 1950, directed and starring Orson Welles. And here's Mask of the Red Death. It's Vintage Classics, Studio Canal, and it's a Vincent Price. Jane Asher's on it, good actress. And this is part of the Poe cycle by Roger Corman, and it wasn't on that box set, so I'm glad they put it out. And there's a booklet and extras on it. And again, this is 1960s. Yeah, it's just way too small a print to even pretend to read it. Now we got Brief Encounter. I don't know, I'll have to speed it up. A Brief Encounter, David Lean. And this is ITV Studios. Celia Johnson, Trevor Howard, Stanley Holloway. It's a David Lean, as I say. It's a fabulous film based on an old Coward play. Again, the date sort of, I can't off the top of my head remember. Another book to film that I did, Lost Horizon, with Ronald Colman, Jane Wyatt. Fabulous film. An interesting little booklet. It's in book form, and it's got a booklet with it. And it's Frank Capra, 1938 or 39. This was an 80th anniversary one. It's a fabulous film. Panic in the Streets, directed by Elia Kazan. He was the one that squealed on a lot of actors, directors, and so forth under McCarthy, the HUAC hearings. And he got a special Oscar sometime in the last 30 years, and I forget the comedian his name. He goes up and he was talking about Rat, and he was talking about Elia Kazan. He was a good director, though, I have to say that. But this is Richard Widmark, Paul Douglas, Barbara Bel Geddes, and it's from a story by Edna and Edward Arnott. This is 1950, I think it is. And, well, here's a little that was a mix-up. I ordered I think it was Air Academy. This is, was that 5 Weeks in a Balloon? And Man's Mood, but it's German editions, but you can find an English soundtrack on it, but everything else, the extras are all in German. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these. Yeah, this is 5 Weeks in a Balloon. I can watch them, but I can't watch any of the extras. And a fabulous 1950s science fiction film, Forbidden Planet, with Leslie Nielsen and Walter Pidgeon and Anne Francis. Directed by Fred McLeod Wilcox. a fabulous science fiction film, one of the better ones from the 1950s. Supposedly, loosely based on The Tempest by Shakespeare. Then we got The Exorcist. It's got the extended director's cut and original theatrical version directed by William Friedkin. Did this as a book to film, and it's a fabulous film. Book, not so much, but it was good. It was interesting. And one of my favorite 1990s films is Trains Spotting. Danny Boyle directing, with Ewan McGregor, Ewan Bremer, Johnny Lee Miller, who went on to play Sherlock Holmes in the American version, Elementary. And it's based on Irvin Welsh's book, which I do want to do because I really like the book as well. It's one of my favorite 90s films. 90. Again, I can't see the bloody date on these things. So yeah. Now, let's keep moving along here if I can. 2 box sets here now. And that's Alien 6-film collection. I've seen them all except Alien Covenant. I really only wanted the first Alien film because that's the one I really like the most. Actually, Prometheus I kind of liked, but Alien is the first one. The second one I didn't care for. The third one I actually liked a bit, and that's the one that flopped most, but it was more getting back to the original one, I thought. And then Alien Resurrection, not the greatest. But the thing was, this was cheaper, I think, than the single one. So I thought, why not? I'll get it. And a fabulous sort of fantasy science fiction series. It's the complete series in Blu-ray of The Twilight Zone. And it doesn't have much in the way of booklet, or it does have a booklet in here. No, there's no booklets in it. There was a special edition one that they wanted £100 and some for that had a fair sized booklet, and a bunch of cards, little comic books or a reprint of comics, and some some cards. But that wasn't worth. Literally, it was worth £100, or they were charging £100 more than this box set. And so what I did was, well, way more, because I got this quite cheap, and then I got a book, a 400-page big book. I could see it there, but it's buried at the moment. Of the same writer who did the little tiny book as a guide. This is a massive book of 400 pages. So I thought, well, I'll get this and then buy the book, and I'm farther ahead. Now, I did miss out on a DVD set, and this is Basil Rathbones' Sherlock Holmes, the definitive collection. This is the UK version, and it was so cheap. This was like 9 or 10 or 12 pounds at the most. It has all the films: Sherlock Holmes and the Hound of Baskervilles, Adventures Sherlock Holmes and the Voice of Terror, Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon, Sherlock Holmes in Washington, Sherlock Holmes Faces Death, Sherlock Holmes and the Spider Woman, Sherlock Holmes and the Pearl of Death, Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Claw, Sherlock Holmes in the House of Fear, Sherlock Holmes in Pursuit to Algiers, Sherlock Holmes and the Woman in Green, Sherlock Holmes in Terror by Night, and Sherlock Holmes in Dress to Kill. Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce. I love these, even though they're not very faithful, but there's some that are better than others. There's audio commentaries on most of them as well. There's a booklet with it. There's some cards, and there's a Blu-ray one now. But like I say, I wasn't going to spend, I think, 80 pounds when I could get this for under 12 pounds or less. And it was a lot cheaper than the American one as well. So I was very pleased with that. That's DVD. This one I haven't even taken out of the plastic. It's Jean Renoir's Grand Illusion. And again, I'm interested in Jean Renoir's films, but this has Erich von Stroheim in it, so that was why I wanted this. It's a Vintage World Cinema. Um, I'm trying to look for the date again here. I can't really see. 1930s. I know that. The High Command, Lionel Atwill, James Mason. It's directed by Thorold Dickinson, British director. It's sort of it's a colonial tale of honor and betrayal between the wars. And I remember this being quite good, so I'm looking forward to watching that again. And here's one that came out recently. It's another network one. It's got it's kind of a velvety feel. I don't really care for these because they get all smudged up. It's a Bela Lugosi film that he did here, I think, in the UK. It's Edgar Wallace's The Dark Eyes of London. A Twisted Evil stalks the streets, but it's been released under different names. It's got a commentary by Kim Newman, and there's a limited edition booklet. It says on it. Trying to see the director here, Walter Summers. And it's based on a book. I've got the book here somewhere. I will be doing this as a book to film at some point. And here's a really nice box set of The Third Man with Orson Welles. It's Carol Reed. And the story and the screenplay was by Graham Greene. I've got the treatment that's been published. Not the story. So like he wrote a treatment and then wrote the screenplay. But this is a fabulous film, and there's lots of extras in it. It's a really nice box set. It's a nice big booklet. So that was nice, and they do nice collections like that. Here is network again. Several of them are networks now. The Lodger. It's a brand new score by Nitin Sawhney. I'm not sure if this is a good score or a bad one. That's why I have it again in another one. It's a 2-disc CD as well with the London Symphony Orchestra. And this is Hitchcock and Ivor Novello. A fabulous silent film. Based on a book as well by Mary Bloch Landis, and I will be doing that at some point. I got the book somewhere. Another great film, early science fiction film, is H.G. Wells' Things to Come. This is put out by Network, and Walter. No, I was going to say Walter Pidgeon, but it's not. It's Raymond Massey and Ralph Richardson on here, and Margarita Scott. This is directed by William Cameron Menzies. I really like this. It's a lot of people find it hokey, but it has a sense of wonder in this, and that to me makes this a great science fiction film. And it's early. It's 1932-ish, 31, 32. But it's a fabulous film. And I will be doing that at some point as a book to film, because I do have Things to Come in book form. Here's the network production of The Lady Vanishes. As soon as I got a Blu-ray player a number of years ago, like 5 years ago, this was, other than the Universal sort of essential collection of the monsters, this was the first Blu-ray that I bought, was The Lady Vanishes. But I was so disappointed because I used to have the Criterion DVD, and I was so disappointed that there was no extras on it. So once I was able to get the Blu-ray Criterion, I bought it, but I still have this one. It's one of my favorite films. Alfred Hitchcock and Paul Lucas, Dame Mae Whitty, and Margaret Lockwood. 1938-ish. 1938. And here's a great film. Like, it was done in the UK here. Boris Karloff, The Ghoul. Weird happenings in a house of mystery. It's good, but it's very derivative of things. Um, and I really like it. It's the first British film ever to be labeled horrific, as well as being the first British horror with sound. So it says on the back. This is Network ITV films, directed by T. Hayes Hunter. Um, yeah, it's early 30s ish, I think. Yeah, I don't see a date here, but it's a really fun film. So when I saw that so cheap, I had to get it. We're winding down. I'll just continue here. Um, a great film, Mystery of the Wax Museum. There's a number of Wax Museum ones, but this is a good one, with Lionel Atwill, Fay Ray, Glenda Farnell, and Frank McHugh. It's from a story by Charles Belden, and directed by Michael Curtiz. It's color, and this is put out by the Archive Collection at Warner Brothers. It's a print on demand almost type system, but in the Blu-rays they are starting to put commentary on it. There is documentary on this, and there is an audio commentary as well, which they're starting to do, which I'm really pleased with that. Another great film and from a great book, All Quiet on the Western Front, from Eric Murray Remarque, and this is uh, uh, it's a Universal, directed by Louis Milestone, and uh, Lou Ayres, Louis Wolheim. Um, it's just a fabulous film. It's an early sound film. It's almost silent in many ways, and there's the silent version on here, which is fabulous as well, because a lot of theaters at that time and cinemas were not equipped with sound, so they, excuse me, so they made silent versions for those for a while. Another great film, film noir. It is Sunset Boulevard with William Holden and the great uh, why my brain, Gloria Swanson, and Eric von Stroheim. And Eric von Stroheim chews up the scenery as well, and there's a lot of silent references to it because Gloria Swanson's character is washed up, silent star. Cecil B. DeMille is on here playing himself, and she's sort of playing herself in a way too, but her character is Norma Desmond, and and William Holden is sort of, he needs to hide out, uh, uh, and he's a script writer, so he gets caught up in all this. Fabulous film. 1950, 1950s, early 50s, I think it is, yeah. And there's a great scene of at the table where they're playing bridge or poker, and it's got Buster Keaton, it's got H.B. Warner, uh, is it Luella Parsons? I always forget who the third one is. It could be Luella Parsons. But anyway, it's a fabulous film. Treasure of the Sierra Madre, starring Humphrey Bogart and Walter Huston, directed by Walter Huston's son, John Huston. A fabulous film based on B. Travin's book by the same name. Uh, it's not as gritty as it's gritty, but it's not as gritty and political as the book is. But they are fabulous. And this is a great one. This is Manhunt. We saw the Rogue Male remake TV one with Peter O'Toole in the BFI collection. But this one's fabulous. In many ways, it looks great with Walter Pidgeon, Joan Bennett, and it's Fritz Lang film. In the 40s. It looked for 1941. It is a fabulous film. It's very film noirish in its look. and it's not wholly accurate to film. There's things that are questionable, but it looks marvelous, and I really like it as a film. And another one that's fabulous for I did a book to film is On the Beach. This is directed by well, it's with Gregory Peck, Ava Gardner, Fred Astaire, Anthony Perkins, Stanley Kramer is the director. Um, and it's based on Neville Shute's film by the book by the same name, and it's a fabulous film. Here is one that I'll probably be doing the book to film of it sometime. Is Ben-Hur. This is William Wyler's Ben-Hur with Charlton Heston and a whole bunch of actors. Great cast of actors, but it also has the silent version on here, which is fabulous as well. So I'll be doing that sometime, and I'll be talking about both versions. Silent version was mid-20s. Yeah, and I can't think of who directed it. And this one was directed by William Wyler. So William Wyler, 1950s. And here's another Macbeth one. Again, like I order things, and I was supposed to get the olive version, and I didn't. I got a German version of it, I think, of Macbeth, and all the extras are in German or French. Is it? Maybe it's French, and it's like they advertised it as something else. So I got this, so I didn't have to pay for it, but I still have it. Last few ones. Oh yeah, here's the fabulous Baron Munchausen, a film by Carl Zeman. He did a number of films that are sort of fantasy related, and a Czech director. That's right, yeah. And I have not seen this version yet, but I am looking forward to it. And fabulous film by Billy Wilder, Some Like It Hot. Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon. Just a fabulous film. This Blu-ray is a bit defective because you can't get to the menu on it, or at least I can't. And another great Orson Welles film is Falstaff, Chimes at Midnight. And this is the 50th anniversary restored film by Mr. Bongo. Is the and it's fabulous. It's one of Orson Welles' greatest, and it's got Margaret Rutherford on this, and Margaret Rutherford just shines in here. She's a great actress to begin with. She did a number of Agatha Christie, Miss Marple films, but her best stuff is like in here, and Blithe Spirit, I think, as well. But this is just a fabulous film, and it's hilarious to watch Orson Welles do comedy. so if you've not seen this, do look for this if you like Orson Welles. And we'll end it on that. I think that's all of them. And next time we'll do these. The last is this Shelf of Silence here. We'll split it up in two because this is one label here, and then we'll do the rest that are behind my noggin here as well. And I think that's it. So there's two more to go, and those will be out next week. Take care, BookTube.